On September 19th, Andy O'Connell, Meta's Vice President of Product Policy and Strategy, met with the South Korean government's official media regulating organization to examine ways to improve user protection in the metaverse. When the National Data Policy Committee first got together, MSIT said, "We will not make the mistake of regulating a new service with existing law." Although discussions over classifying the metaverse as a virtual world continue to be on the table. In what specific ways did the South Korean Ministry of Science update its regulations that were recently announced? What exactly took place that necessitated this conference call? What were some of the subjects that were covered during the meeting? Curious to know more? Well, stay tuned for that. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Having said that, let's get into the video. The MSIT has ruled that the emerging metaverse, autonomous vehicle, and over-the-top streaming businesses require new rules. When discussing the metaverse, MSIT voiced concern that a lack of legal and institutional framework could stifle industrial development, establish criteria for the classification of gaming products, and metaverses for rational and consistent regulation and support for legislation of associated laws, reads a rough translation of the press release. On September 1st, lawmakers in favor of bolstering the Web3 business voted in favor of a proposal to establish the Metaverse Industry Promotion Act. Investment of $200 million in the development of a domestic metaverse demonstrates South Korea's commitment to joining the Web3 and metaverse ecosystems. Concurrent with these efforts, the MSIT found that adhering to antiquated regulations stunts the development of novel ecosystems. South Korean authorities have been increasingly cracking down on those operating the Terra ecosystem despite their commitment to fostering the development of new technology. Prosecutors in the country believe that Terraform Labs co-founder and CEO Do Kwon deceived investors by creating Luna Classic and Terra SD Classic without disclosing the risk that the value of both cryptocurrencies would fall at the same time. Prosecutors as a result issued an order canceling the passports of Kwon and other Terra employees. When entering a virtual environment, most players are quite concerned with protecting their safety. A new challenge arises every time we think we have a solution to the problem of how to manage and secure our private information. About 8 in 10 US residents are worried about their safety while using the internet, per data from the Pew Research Center. There is even more cause for alarm when it comes to the metaverse since so few people have any concept of what it is. However, not every business or government is doing well. Last week, Andy O'Connell, Meta's VP of Product Policy and Strategy, reportedly met with South Korea's media regulator to talk about how to ensure users' safety in the metaverse. Following recent attacks on the metaverse platform, venture investor Ahn Hyung of the Korea Communications Commission approached Meta to set up a meeting. What was covered in the meeting? The three key considerations that Ahn and O'Connell cover in their article on improving metaverse user safety are as follows: addressing concerns about user security. Second, how to design regulations that safeguard users. Third, how to improve communication between Meta and its users. Meta now runs the popular Horizon Worlds, which is a metaverse platform powered by VR technology. Users can build their virtual environments on the platform. The Quest VR headset is required to access the platform, which is exclusively accessible in North America and certain portions of Europe. Meta is, however, hard at work developing a browser-based version of the platform that anyone with a VR headset will be able to use. Meta is used to enhance user security in South Korea's metaverse. Vice President of Product Policy and Strategy at Meta Platforms Andy O'Connell recently met with South Korea's media regulating agency to discuss methods to strengthen user protection in the metaverse. Ahn Hyung, Vice Chairman of the Korea Communications Commission, was the subject of O'Connell's meeting with him. Local South Korean media report that Ahn Hyung approached Facebook owner Meta and asked that he and O'Connell assist the regulator in better protecting Facebook users. They discussed the openness of the algorithms that drive digital platforms, as well as methods for preventing the dissemination of unlawful content. South Korean authorities have decided to ask for Meta's help because of rising worries about sexual harassment of kids in online communities. Officials in South Korea learned last year that an adult had blackmailed a teenager into sending sexually explicit images of themselves in exchange for virtual goods in a game. However, the authorities have also received reports of sexual offenses occurring within the metaverse. According to a report from South Korea's Ministry of Gender Equality and Family from last September, a 14-year-old girl was reportedly coerced into stripping her metaverse avatar of its clothing and engaging in sexual acts with it. What Metaverse talks about safety, Vice Chairman Ahn Hyung of the Korea Communications Commission reportedly proposed working with Meta to establish safety safeguards for new virtual reality platforms like the Metaverse. According to reports, they also talked about algorithm transparency in the context of stopping the spread of fake news and other illegal content across the internet. Horizon Worlds, a VR platform, relies on Meta to power its metaverse. So far, the platform has been made available to users in North America and some areas of Europe, and it marks one of the big tech corporations' first initiatives to establish the metaverse. South Korea, for its part, is one of the first countries in the world to devote national resources to creating its reflections. Just what transpired to need this conference call. As more of our lives move online, many are concerned about their security in the metaverse. Recent reports of sexual assaults against users on the Horizon Worlds platform highlight the urgency of these pleas. The personal border system was introduced by Meta as a result of user complaints. It mandates a 4-foot buffer zone around each avatar outside of close friends' profiles. In South Korea, parents are increasingly worried that their children may be subjected to sexual harassment or abuse. South Korean authorities responded by establishing a commission to look into ways to better protect users in the metaverse, with a focus on preventing sexual harassment of minors online. Meta created Horizon Worlds, a free VR game for the Oculus Rift S and Oculus Quest 2, specifically. The metaverse game has been attacked for several issues, including sexual harassment claims and the high fees it charges developers. The internet company just last month released digital collectibles on Instagram and Facebook, enabling users to transfer their NFTs between the two social media sites. Metaverse sexual assault issues have emerged alongside the explosive development of really immersive virtual environments. The metaverse is expected to be worth $1.5 trillion by 2029, according to a forecast published earlier this year by Fortune Business Insights. What exactly were the new regulations announced by the South Korean Ministry of Science? Additionally, the Ministry of Science in Korea has said that it intends to propose new regulations to encourage a more widespread application of the metaverse. The government is no longer under the impression that it must police the metaverse according to the guidelines established by conventional video games. The goal is to develop regulations that will enable companies to experiment with novel concepts without putting the safety of their customers in jeopardy. The first time that O'Connell and Ann crossed paths marked the beginning of their joint mission to create the metaverse, a risk-free environment for all of its users. With any luck, this will serve as a model for other organizations, including governments, to emulate in the future. As to why it matters, according to people who specialize in the law, there is not yet any legislation in place to address the issue of abuse in digital and virtual areas. The fact that the internet is accessible all over the world makes it more difficult to enforce laws, which presents a significant obstacle for national governments. Therefore, companies that specialize in information technology and governmental entities need to collaborate on the development of a more reliable mode of transportation. This is it, everyone. So, what do you think? Leave a comment and let us know. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Also, put on the notifications because the next video is going to be a great one.